We have yet another Dave Chappelle scandal, and this time it is not about trans people. So this is in the New York Post. Dave Chappelle fans walk out after he blasts Israel's war crimes in Gaza. Pro-Palestinians losing job offers. Okay. So I'm going to give you what it says here in the New York Post article. Then we have a secondhand account of somebody who was allegedly at the Chappelle stand-up comedy event. So let's dive into it here. They weren't laughing. Now, remember, this is the New York Post, so this might be slanted a little bit on the side of Israel. Comedian Dave Chappelle criticized the United States for backing Israel's war crimes against Palestinians during a live performance in Boston Thursday, prompting some audience members to walk out, according to a report. The controversial comic made the remarks during a show at the TD Garden on Thursday, the Wall Street Journal reported. Chappelle condemned Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel that left some 1,400 Israelis dead, but blasted what he claimed were Israel's war crimes in Gaza, sparking some pushback from the crowd. People in attendance told the outlet. The brouhaha started when a member of the audience told Chappelle to, quote, "shut up," after he said he didn't think people should lose their jobs for supporting Palestinians, according to the Journal. So he's talking about now the cancel culture that's going after people who support Palestinians, and we just gave a couple of examples of those here. So this guy's the head of a major tech conference web summit, and he said war crimes are war crimes even when committed by allies and should be called out for what they are. This dude lost his job over that. Some CAA woman lost her job over an Instagram post that it was like a repost that said, "You're currently learning who supports genocide." She lost her job over that. So it is something that's real, and that is happening. All right, let's continue. The brouhaha started when a member of the audience told Chappelle to shut up. Okay, we already talked about that. By the way, hilarious that you go to his show and then he talks and you're like, shut up. His job is to speak. You might not like what he's speaking about, but this is his job. His job is to speak about stuff. Chappelle, in response, criticized the Israeli government's decision to cut off food, water, and electricity to Gaza. He also accused Israel of killing innocent civilians and committing war crimes, according to the report. So let's just pause on this for a second, because I think people are not, at least in the U.S., are not fully grasping how extreme and insane this move from Israel is. That's like if some drug gang, let's say some drug gang took some innocent people hostage and brought them to their drug hideout in the center of the hood. Should the police in response cut off food, water, and electricity to everybody in the hood? Like, let's say 10,000 people lose food, water, and electricity because there's one drug gang that took hostages. No, that's collective punishment. That's insane. The logic falls apart instantly. Now you are doing crimes in reaction to a crime. But for some reason, like the media is not nearly as harshly critical of this as they should be. All right, let's continue. And there's some pictures here, as you can see, from the war. More than 4,300 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict as the IDF have relentlessly pummeled the enclave with more than 6,000 bombs. Those dead include women and children, according to Palestinian authorities. Other members of the audience cheered and shouted "Free Palestine," while others shot back, "What about Hamas?" Witnesses told the Journal. Some members of the audience walked out after the vacuous moment. Toward the end of the show, Chappelle reportedly said that two wrongs don't make a right. In reference to the Hamas attacks and Israel's subsequent military response, a spokesperson for Chappelle told the outlet the comedian denies being in Boston that night, despite the show being listed among his dates by ticket outlets. What? So I don't know if it sounds like maybe his spokesperson is trolling on his behalf here. But anyway, so we have this as well. Now, to be fair, I don't know who the hell this guy is. And he's giving like a secondhand account. So we're really playing a game of telephone here. So take everything I'm about to give you with a massive grain of salt. But this guy says, from a friend, something is changing in America. I saw Dave Chappelle last night at Boston TD Garden. It was sold out, so I would say 22,000 people there. Three-quarters into the show, he said, I want to address what's going on in Palestine and Israel. He specifically said Palestine and said it before Israel. He said what happened on October 7th wasn't right, but also what's going on isn't right and not just. You can't kill innocent civilians like that and the whole world sits silently and watches. Then someone shouted at him from the crowd, "Shut the F up, Dave." He then went nuts and yelled back, "No, you shut the F up. You don't take tens of billions of dollars from my country to go kill innocent women and children and come and tell me to shut the F up." He said, "Don't come begging for money from my country and then go drop bombs on children and cut off innocent people's water and electricity. You have the audacity to pay to come see me and then tell me to shut the F up? No, you shut the F up." The crowd started clapping and cheering for him and saying, "Yes, Dave," and chants of "Free Palestine." And then he said, "You're damn right, Free Palestine." He went on a 15-minute rant about being a Muslim and that the Israelis are projecting what's wrong with them on Muslims, and the crowd kept on cheering. It was surreal. Crowd was typical Boston demographic, 80% white, 5% black, and the rest Latin and others. So there you go. This is a secondhand account of somebody who was allegedly there. We don't know for sure. It's somewhat similar to what the New York Post is reporting, that some people were like, shut up, what about Hamas and stuff like that. But look, shocker here, but Dave Chappelle, I think, is right at every level on this. So he's right about the October 7th Hamas terror attack being a terror attack and killing innocent people and being horrendous and condemnable. And he's also right that the most basic moral principle you could think of is two wrongs don't make a right. And Israel's response to that was collective punishment against all Palestinian civilians, which is unacceptable and cruel. And we're sitting here and cheering that on while we give Israel weapons and money. And we sit here and cheer it on as they massacre civilians on a daily basis, and that's unacceptable. And this is this is a scandal involving Dave Chappelle, which doesn't involve trans people, and one where he's maybe potentially pissing off a little bit of the fan base that he picked up with his anti-cancel culture crusade, and his anti-trans comedy. He picked up a particular demographic, and now, he might be realizing, hey, some of those people don't really agree with me on these other issues. It's not the most surprising thing in the world, but on this issue, I think he's 100% correct. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.